Hi Year Ones, it is Mrs. Sweeney again, and we are going to carry on with our Chapter 7 learning. Hopefully you've got your resources and your learning partner with you. When you have, we are going to move on. Our learning objective today is to learn to subtract from 10. Now yesterday we were subtracting just using our ones column, or your ones that are left over outside your tens frame. However, today we are going to use our tens frames to help us subtract, okay? So your tens frame needs to be full. Your whole 10 is what you are using to subtract today. Okay, so needless to say, you will need some objects to count and some tens frames to help your learning. So our in focus task is here. We've got Sam, and he's baked some donuts, and he's choosing very kindly to give his friend 8 donuts. Okay, so just before we even begin, talk to your talk partner or your learning partner. What strategies could you show this mathematical problem? Could you show to help solve this mathematical problem? Okay, how many different ways are you going to help use subtraction? All right, so have a go at doing that, and we will explore it a bit more. Well done, Year Ones. So hopefully you have had different conversations about the strategies you would use. Okay, so there's crossing off the donuts, or taking them away and putting them somewhere else, or pretend eating them. Okay, there's lots of strategies. Now, how many donuts? The first question what you would have had to ask yourself was, how many donuts does Sam have all together? Now he's got 6 on his plate, 8 on his plate, and 6 left on the tray, and we know that 6 and 8 make 14, so we have 14 donuts to begin with all together. And then how many does he give away to his friend? He gives her 8 donuts. So the number sentence that we are trying to solve is 14 take away 8. Okay, I'm going to get my pen to just annotate on my slide. So we've got our learning objective, which is to subtract from 10, and our sentence here is 14 take away 8. Okay, so I've got all of my 14 laid out here, all of my 14 donuts. We're going to put 10 in a box first. We're going to group our 10, okay? So what we've done is we've partitioned our 14, our whole number here, into 4 and 10. And we talked about partitioning on Monday. So you've got 10 grouped together and 4 left over outside. All right, so, but what we're going to do is we're using our 10 to take away the 8 first. So all you're doing is crossing out 8 donuts from your tens frame, and then you're adding the 2 that are left over to the 4 ones that are outside. So all you've got is 4 add 2, which is here, and that is your answer. You've got 14 take away 8 equals 6, so there are 6 donuts left. And I'm going to exemplify this a bit more in our learning, which you will need to do in your journaling today. So I've laid out my 14 donuts, and I am putting 10 in a little group and partitioning them into 10. So let's see, I've got my 10 donuts. You can do this at home using different objects to represent your donuts. So I'm filling up my tens frame with my 10 donuts. Okay, there we go. There's my 10 donuts in my tens frame. However, I've also got 4 left over outside. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now our number sentence is, we've partitioned our 4, we've just done that, we've got 10 and 4, we've got 4 here and our 10. What we're using is our 10 to take away 8 from it. Okay, and the way you're going to do that is simply by crossing off our 8. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, So that leaves me with 2. And this time, we're using that 2 to add to the 4. So what I'm going to do is move my 4 here. And I'm going to add my 2 to the 4. So I've got 4, add 2 equals 6. So can you see my 4 donuts added to my 2 donuts make 6. So if you count them, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hopefully that makes sense. So in your journals today, you've got your 14 donuts, and your top tip in subtraction is to start with the biggest number, split the bigger number into 10 and a ones number. Okay, I've laid out my 14. I'm putting it into, partitioning it rather, into 10 and something. So draw your 10 and then draw your leftover ones in the blank here. Tell me right here what your partitioning is for, and that's right. Okay, once you've drawn your donuts and you've drawn your leftover ones here, you are going to write the number sentences. Your first step was to take your 10 and subtract the 8 from it, and you get an answer. And then you're using that answer to add to the leftover 4. So you've got 4, add your answer from this equation, and you're left with it here. So 14 take away 8 equals ta-da, and you're going to finish off by telling your learning partner at home how many donuts are left. And we've just finished doing that here, so I don't want anyone to feel stuck. Please come back to this part of your learning in the video if you would like to go through it again. Okay, when you've done your journaling, we always stop to have a go at doing some guided practice on our own, and we use this time to work with our learning partner. What I would like you to do is, with your learning partner, you're going to get your pretend cars or your pretend ducks, whatever objects you have lying around at home, and your tens frames. And the first question you're going to solve is 15 take away 7, and it is a 2-step problem, as we just saw. You're splitting your bigger number into 10 and the ones, and then the next question you're going to do is 13 take away 9, and these 2 questions are a bit more scaffolded for you and in representing the pictures. But the second part of our guided practice has just got number sentences: 13 take away 5 and 17 take away 9. Okay, all you're doing is making up a story. You might want to use spoons or counters or flowers, whatever objects you would like at home to help you solve this one in the same way that you did these 2 up here, and the same goes for B as well. Okay, so have a go at doing these guided practice questions. When you have finished, you are going to have an extra activity saved up for another part of this lesson, or another part of today when you're finished with your maths and all other learning. Okay, so your extra activity is to play it in groups of 3 to 4 people. You will need number cards, okay, a single digit number and a 2-digit number. You are going to subtract the smaller number from the greater number, okay, and in the number sentence the greater number goes first. All right, so for example, you'll pick a 2-digit number, that's 12, and a single digit number, that is 5, and you're using the same 2-step process to subtract. So you're subtracting your 10 from your 5, and the answer that you get, you add to the ones that are left over. The player with the correct answer gets to keep the cards, and the player with the most cards wins. Okay, so if you haven't got number cards, I've uploaded some for you, but if you can't print them off for any reason, it's very easy to write your numbers. So for your single digits, you're writing the numbers 1 to 9 onto pieces of paper, and for your 2-digit numbers, you're writing the numbers 10 to 10 to 20 on your cards or your pieces of paper, okay? But have a go at this game. It's an optional activity. When you finished your guided practice, however, you go straight onto your worksheet and you're completing today's worksheet with from pages 133 to 135. When you're finished with your independent learning, you are done for today's maths. Okay, I will see you back for another exciting lesson tomorrow. Bye for now.